I actually want to dive into this part of the adversity side. Probably will help the players a lot, parents and coaches too. Any adversity that you had faced in your career, but especially this injury before your WHL draft, you probably at the time were very disappointed in yourself. It sounded like you said, "Oh, bad choice." Dad was disappointed. Um, but truly, it kind of sounded like it worked out for you and possibly made you stronger. Maybe share that whole situation a bit of.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, injuries happen. It's part of hockey. That one when I was 15-year-old skateboarding um, was one that made me learn a lesson, which was probably need to be smarter with your risk analysis of what you're doing away from the sport. And at that time, I was still playing other sports at 15, right? I was playing high level baseball, which we ended up winning the provincials. I played on my school basketball team as well at the time. But I couldn't do any of it, right? And I was on crutches for whatever. And so yeah, dealing with that at that age was important, and dealing with the self-doubt and the negativity that comes with injuries sometimes, and how long is this going to take, and blah blah blah, helped me develop some resiliency mentally for what comes later on. And I struggled with injuries a little bit over the course of my pro career at different times too. But yeah, there's always going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. I think it's important to be able to see that at the time, right? And it's easier, said than done when I'm sitting here now, 20 years after I broke my foot skateboarding, saying, this was a great thing for me, and I ended up going to college and getting a scholarship because of it, right? Like hindsight's 2020, I understand that, but there's always going to be things like that, whether it's an injury, an illness, or some other situation, right? And the overall goal needs to be still kept in mind when you're dealing with that type of stuff. And I had surgeries later on in my career. After my third year pro, I was sort of up and down with Nashville, and became an unrestricted free agent, signed a one-way ticket with the Blue Jackets. So I was like slated to play in NHL, and hurt my ankle in training camp, and tried to rehab it over and over again. I kept re-injuring it. Turns out I was misdiagnosed and needed ankle surgery and missed the whole year. And that was pretty crushing, right? I would have played 30 games in the show that year. Had ankle surgery, missed the entire season. The next year was the lockout, so there was no more NHL. I was back in the American League, and that window was sort of closed. But again, it helped me develop some more mental resiliency. It made me realize that I needed to probably stick up for myself more when it came to my own body and what was hurting and whatever, because I knew something wasn't right, and just kept trying to play because I was told I was okay, and ended up being a significant injury that needed to be fixed. But yeah, learning lessons from the experience, I think, is an important part of it. And this stuff that happens in sports, you can't really get the same thing out of just regular life outside of athletics. So that's why you see after hockey, people want to hire athletes, and athletes go into other team-based professions like policing or firefighting or whatever. But people want to hire athletes after the sport because of the lessons that they've learned and the experiences that they've had that wouldn't really happen outside of sports.
Yeah, good. Yeah, those are great areas for sure. One little question I have for you, and I've been injured obviously many times. We actually close to the same times. When I was in Bantam, second year is when I fractured my ankle. Was out, I think, about 6 weeks and finished, basically the whole second half of the season because it's only January and February. But is there any little tips or secrets you could share with these players of when you're injured? Did you do anything? Obviously, you weren't running around, but is there anything that you did to do extra off the ice? Did you do any?
Yeah. And this is what I try and harp on now to a lot of my clients, right? If they get tweaks or they get banged up in games, there's always something you can do, right? I hurt it was my left ankle, I guess, or my left foot when I broke that. I can train my right leg, I can train my core, I can train both of my arms, right? And there's, there's good research to support that doing that will actually help healing on the injured limb. So there's always something you can do to maintain your fitness or even improve it. And you can work on things that you need to work on when you have the extra time, if you're injured, things like that. So besides the mental aspect of becoming a more resilient person, when you have to deal with things like that, it gives you some time to work on other stuff that maybe you've been neglecting or didn't think you could do or whatever. So, if someone says, oh, you can't do anything for 6 months, they're probably lying or they're giving you bad advice. There's always something you can do.
Yeah, no, for sure. I find speaking with the player last night, healthy scratch. Players get scratch all the time, mostly probably into the junior college pro ranks. But it's up to them to not take the day off or to get in that content. Oh, I'll just work hard tomorrow practice. Just do something that day. There's bikes, hill runs, dry land training,
whatever. What are you gonna do about it? Right. You got scratched. What are you gonna do about it? Right. It's not blaming the coach or blaming your teammates for not passing or whatever. What are you gonna do about it so that you don't get scratched the next night?
That's right.
Yeah.
How about any mentors that you've had throughout your whole hockey journey or have been able to mentor?
Sure. Lots of them. Yeah. I mean, starting off with my parents for sure, just instilling discipline and dedication and consistency and things like that were obviously instrumental in my hockey career and my life. Just, being able to work. So I'm eternally grateful for my parents. Later on, hockey guys, I mean, I was fortunate enough to spend 4 different seasons involved with Mitch Korn, who's like, the biggest name in NHL goalie coaches. I had him in Nashville for 3 years. Later on, when I came back from the KHL after missing a whole season from knee surgery and not getting paid and stuff like that, I reached out to Mitch and said, like, I don't have a job. I was just playing in the second best league in the world. I need help. Anyways, he got me to Washington for a training campus. He was with the Caps at the time. Ended up earning an American League deal 2 days into training camp, and was able to keep playing hockey for 3 years after that. So, I owe a lot of my years of play and success as a goalie to Mitch. He's been an awesome mentor, and I still keep in touch with him. So he's probably right up there. There's a lot of coaches and parent figures and anything like that along the way. My coaches in college were great to me. They were all at my wedding. So they're really important.
Who was the head coach there at that time?
Don Vaughn, same guy. He's still there.
Still, yeah. Right. Wow. He's been there for a long time. Same like Quinnipiac, Brand Pecknell.
Vonner's been there a really long time. At the time when I was there, we had Brad Dexter and Andrew Dixon as assistants. Dex is now assistant coach or associate head coach at Princeton. I think he's still there. And Dix is a scout for the Wings. But still talk to those guys every once in a while. And they played instrumental roles in my success after college as a pro because of some of the lessons that they taught me back then.